Ready to go? Okay. Hi everybody, it's Guinea Pig Session time. I was putzing around this afternoon, didn't have a lot going on, and I thought, well, why don't I go down and do a guinea pig session? Went out and I found my fish out in the pond. I got a little pond in the backyard I've been working on. If you've been seeing my post on my Facebook page, I was working on my pond because it was getting kind of nasty, and went out and bought 3 new fish, and suddenly there are 7 fish in my pond. Out of nowhere, I've got 7 fish. So I bought 3, 2 or 3 were still already there, and then today I decided to buy a little bit of fish food, threw it in the pond, because normally I let the fish forage for their own food because I let the pond go natural. And all of a sudden, there are like 7 fish up at the top feeding. 2 little black fish came out of nowhere, and they're pretty good sized fish. So apparently they were born at some point in time that I didn't know. But so I thought what I'd do is I'm over here kind of off to the side. One Take Tuesday will be a week from tomorrow. Don't forget, it's the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month. So look out for that. So I thought what I'd do for you, I'm going to do like, I think 5 songs. I lost count on my lyric sheets here. But I'm going to do a song off of the first album that came out in 1993, back in the 20th century. It was a song called On My Mind. And when I met my wife, Wendy, she had gotten a hold of my first album, and she told me, she said, the first time I played guitar for her, she said, play that song called On My Mind, because I really like that song. So it's one of her favorite songs. So I'm going to do that for you. And if Roger shows up, Roger's always giving me grief about talking too much. Sorry, Roger. You know, shut it off for a while, or read your whatever news. But I have to point something out. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am sitting here playing a Martin guitar, which I seldom, if ever, do. Martin is a fine guitar, but it's just not a guitar for me. But both of my girls, both of the Taylor guitars, if you saw on Facebook earlier today, they have gone to the hospital to get major voice reconstruction. That's what I'm calling it. We're getting new pickups put in the guitars so that I can play them live. Over the years, between the airlines and TSA beating the guitars around, the systems that are in Taylor guitars, they're very sensitive because they're different than just a pickup. If you're a guitar player, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll make a brief description. But a lot of guitars just have a little pickup that's under the bridge, which is down here, and that's what you play through. Well, Taylor guitars has this system where it has 2 different pickups and a microphone inside the guitar. So when you play live, it sounds like an acoustic guitar just being played 5 feet away from you without any amplification. And both of the girls, Loretta and Sparky, both of my Taylor guitars, their systems both crapped out at the same time. So Taylor, which is it is my most favorite guitar and guitar company in the world, they have taken good care of me. They sent me 2 new systems for both girls. I took them into a Taylor dealer today. They had to bring a guy in who had quit working at this particular music store. They brought him back just to work on my guitars. So I feel kind of special about that. And they should be back in service by the end of the week. In the meantime, my good friend and my current guitar tech, Steve Pratt, loaned me his guitar. He said, I hope you don't mind, but I'll loan you my Martin guitar. And I said, that's no problem, as long as you don't mind me taking a permanent marker and marking this out. I was kidding. Martins are fine guitars, and they're probably my second favorite guitar, but I don't own any of them. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into this here. And this is a song off the first album, like I said before, called On My Mind. And then I'm going to do 4 songs that are going to be on a new album. Okay, here we go. Everywhere I go, I see your face. Everywhere I turn, I think of you. You're on my mind all of the time. Feeling something that I think is true. You're on my mind all of the time. You're in my heart, want you to be mine. I wanna feel your love everywhere. You're in my heart, and I want you there. Now these feelings inside, finding hard to hide. Eats at my heart, drive me out of my mind. If you only knew how I feel for you, you let me know that you feel it too. You're on my mind all of the time. You're in my heart, want you to be mine. Wanna feel your love everywhere. You're in my heart, and I want you there. Feelings that were gone, I thought I'd never feel again. Feelings that were gone till I met you. Now what'll I do? I feel like I love you. I'm afraid you don't feel it too. You're on my mind all of the time. You're in my heart, want you to be mine. Wanna feel your love everywhere. You're in my heart, and I want you there. You're still in my heart, I'm afraid you don't care. On my mind. Been working with the distributing company that distributes all my music. It's called TuneCore, which is kind of a behind the curtains kind of company, because what they're supposed to do is when you go to Spotify or iTunes or any of those places where you can download music, it's supposed to automatically go to their library where they have all of my stuff. I don't know how that works. My publishing company takes care of all that stuff. But I just found out last week that the Best That I Can album is not in their library. So we're working right now to try to get that fixed. But anyway, Full Fell, which is the first album that came out, my first full-length album that came out in 1993, that's not available in CD form, but it is available for download. So if you want to go back and find out what it sounded like during when I put out my first full-length solo album, it's a pretty good album. When I listen to that compared to my latest album, I can tell that I've grown over the last 25, 30 years in my music. Almost 30 years now. That's scary. So, okay, let's get up to the newest album that I'm working on now. And actually, another reason that I'm here playing music for you on my buddy Steve Pratt's Martin guitar instead of my two Taylor guitars, is because the guitars are in the hospital getting fixed. Both guitars, both my Taylors. My CD, my new album project has been kind of put on hold for 3 or 4 days. Plus, Michael Ronstadt, who has kind of become my co-producer on this album, he's down in Cincinnati, and we've been sending files back and forth. I'll do my guitar vocal parts, send them down to him. He does vocal and some cello parts on it, and I tell him, you know, be wicked with me if you don't think it sounds good, and let me know. Well, Michael's been working on 4 or 5 projects on his own, in addition to taking care of his cello students that he's still either working with online, or he's developed a little plexiglass wall that he can put between him and his students so he can still see them face to face. And he just put out a new album. I think he's got like 6 or 8 albums out. I've lost count of how many albums, but anyway, I have a phone meeting with him tonight to figure out when we can jump back on it, because I've sent him like 4 or 5 tracks. I'm almost halfway done with my parts of the album, and then the rest of the band, who are either down in Cincinnati or various parts of the Midwest, and then I have one person, Lance Martin, is down in Nashville. So it's all a matter of everybody getting their parts put on there and sending them back to me. So that's why I'm able to do a Guinea Pig session today, because I don't have any of that other stuff to do. So if you like the Guinea Pig sessions, you should be happy about that. If you think these are annoying, I apologize that I'm not doing something else today. So anyway, the next 4 songs are going to be on the new album, and they're all songs that I wrote. So this song called Long Time Coming, Long Time Gone. Oh, and it's in the key of B flat. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek song. My older brothers always had this saying when somebody seemed like a really nice person and they were really either handsome or beautiful, depending on who they were, but inside they were really a jerk. So they'd say, beauty's skin deep, but ugly goes clean to the bone. I don't know just where the time goes. Don't know if I care anymore. Go down the road, just doing what I'm doing. When trouble comes, learn to try to let it go. Feeling's been a long time coming. If I paid attention, I would have seen it all along. Look in my rear view mirror. See, it's been a long time gone. You knew for sure I was meant for you. I knew you were meant for someone else. If we had seen the way everything was going, I never would have gone through that hell. Feeling's been a long time coming. If I paid attention, I would have seen it all along. Look in my rear view mirror. See, it's been a long time gone. Let's try that again. All those years are gone, but something kept me waiting. Together we always seemed alone. I never could see past the beauty there before me. Yeah, beauty skin deep, but ugly's clean to the bone. Feeling's been a long time coming. If I paid attention, I would have seen it all along. Look in my rear view mirror. See, it's been a long time gone. Looking in my rear view mirror, I see it's been a long time gone. Long time coming. Whoa. Played a gig Saturday night in Heath, Ohio. Sand Hollow Winery. My good friend Jim Young and his wife Cindy asked me to come out and play outside. And suddenly I've done 2 gigs in the last 4 months, so I can go out tomorrow and buy a Porsche now. When you're not standing up playing for 90 minutes to 3 hours, depending on what the gig is, your body ain't used to it, especially when you're up in your 60s. So that and my vocal cords were kind of saying, what the hell did you do to us? So some of those low notes that I normally hit with no problem at all, I'm going, whoa, I think I can hit that. I used to hit it, but... So this is the next song. This next song is also going to be on a new album. It's a song I wrote. Actually, I started writing this song back when I was sitting on the deck in my old house in Cincinnati, College Hill, Ohio, Cincinnati. And we had a wonderful house. It was on. We owned 2 acres, but our house was in the middle of 200 acres of woods that went down into a ravine. So our deck was basically on the 2nd story of the house. And if I turned off the deck light and sat down with a glass of bourbon, you could see kind of a gazillion stars, and you'd hear the wonderful animals out in the woods, everything from coyote, turkeys, and deer would come running through the yard and stuff. And this one night I started thinking about all my loved ones who had passed on, and I was looking up at the sky, and I realized that everybody who's ever lost anybody, those souls and those people, they are the stars in heaven. So I found myself writing this song about my brother Steve and my mom and dad and my grandparents and uncles and aunts and cousins who have gone on. And I wrote this song called I'm Missing You. Whether it's a year, whether it's a century, don't know if it's sadness, maybe it's just self-pity. I'm missing you, missing you. You told me you'd be here anytime I needed you. Now it seems like every day I'm always not knowing what to do. I'm missing you, missing you. I'm missing you, just missing you. Why did you go away? Could have stayed just one more day. Got nothing else to say, got nothing else to do. I'm missing you, just missing you. Somewhere up above, life seems harder every day. Count the stars in the heavens, my tears flow, and I gotta say I'm missing you, just missing you. I'm missing you, just missing you. Whether it's a year, whether it's a century, don't know if it's sadness, maybe it's just self-pity, but I'm missing you, I'm missing you, I'm missing you, just missing you. I'm missing you. Gee, I just realized that my last three songs here are all songs about kind of the hereafter. Guess you can tell where my brain has been the last several weeks. Thinking about people who have passed on and talking to them a lot. But this is a song, it came to me, I've done it a few times, it's going to be on a new album as well, and I already have a music video in my head of what I would like a music video to look like for this song. But I woke up, this was it was probably in late February, early March. I woke up with this entire song in my head, and it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and unlike me, I actually jumped up and ran down to my studio and started writing it down. Normally, I push the little iTalk thing on my iPhone, and I will whisper into the phone so I don't wake the wife up. The problem with that, or I do a whisper singing, and the problem I found with that is that the next day, I wake up and I play it back, and you hear this, which means nothing to me. So I thought, man, I got to go down to the studio and actually write this down. I can't remember if I made it back to bed or if I just fell asleep in a lazy boy down in the hangout room next to the studio. But when I got up and sat down with my guitar, the entire song just came to me like that. And I thought, where the hell did this song come from? Excuse my language. And then I realized my dad passed away in 2013, and one of the stories he told me was like, what was when he was a teenager down in southern Illinois, in Harrisburg, Illinois, he worked on various farms. He would go do whatever work he could to make some money before he ended up in Germany in the war. And he said he got to ride horses once in a while, and he always loved horses. So the first verse must have been where that came from. And then he told me how he, after my mom passed away in 2010, 3 years before my dad did, he told me one time just as matter of factly, he wasn't complaining about it, he wasn't crying about it, but he said people would always talk to him about how loved ones would come to visit them in their dreams at night. And he said, you know what? He said, your mom passed away almost 3 years ago, and she's never visited me in a dream. And that was just a very matter-of-fact thing. For me, it kind of tore at my heart that he shared that to me because my mom and dad were together 65 years before she passed. So I realized as I was working up this song, this was my dad channeling through me. So that's what kind of makes this song a very special song for me. It's called Return to You. I could put a saddle on a fine swift horse to ride upon away into the mountains I would ride, past the tall timbers to the snow line, and there I'd stay, just to be close to you. Walking the trail in the forest woods, remembering the days when I could just talk to you. I'll take the path less traveled upon, tell myself you're not really gone, that you're right here. And I'd hold you. We are together, you and me. Our love for eternity. I see a light in the distant haze as I come to the final days of my world. It ain't nothing but the passage of time. When I was yours, you were mine forever. I'd hold you again. Together, I'd hold you again. I could put a saddle on a fine swift horse to ride upon away. A song for my dad. My dad and mom, who are now together up there in the great beyond. Wow, this worked out perfectly because the next song I want to do for you is a song called The Great Beyond. Somebody asked me a few months back, they said, Dave, you got a death wish or something? I said, no, I'm just kind of a fatalist. You know, after I hit 60, and I kind of thought, well, if the time comes, the time comes. You can't really stop it, right? So, this song kind of came to me. It also came to me all at once, and I was kind of thinking about various things with my own life and where things have gone over the last 45 years playing music professionally. To be honest with you, when John Prine died, it just punched me in the gut, because back when I was, I heard my first John Prine song in 1972 or 1973, and by the time I started playing, well, in high school I'd be at parties and I'd be doing John Prine songs, and nobody knew who the hell John Prine was. And then in 1975, when I started playing music professionally, a lion's share of my set list were John Prine songs. So I've always said that my career would have never existed if it hadn't been for John Prine in the start of the whole thing. I mean, you know, growing up, I liked the Beatles and Graham Parsons and all those really great musicians and songwriters. But man, it was John Prine who kind of drilled it into my head just by listening to him, that if you take the simplest of words, mix of words, and the simplest of melodies, but if you could join them together in just the right way, you could just have a killer song. And that was John. You know, 95% of his songs, they weren't like these really intricately made things, but they were like simple stories, but the way he told them could just really go straight to your soul. And that's what happened to me as a late teens, early 20s singer-songwriter in the beginning of his career. So I guess that's where this song came from, as well as just the words came to me one night as well. Thinking about the end of my life and what's going to happen after I'm gone, I'm sure all of my music is just going to go big time. My songs are going to make it big, and my kids are going to make millions of dollars because I won't be here. That seems to be like a thing that happens to a lot of songwriters, right? So anyway, so this is a song called The Great Beyond, and it's my last song for the Guinea Pig Session. And I really appreciate you guys stopping in, and let's go with this, okay? It's called The Great Beyond, as if I didn't already say that 4 times in a row. When I die, will you remember me? When I'm dead and gone, will you really miss me? When my last winter's come and gone, will you think of me flying to the great beyond? What will it be? My legacy? Will people say I was just okay? When my last winter's come and gone, will you think of me flying to the great beyond? Give my body, please, to folks trying to cure disease. Burn what's left of me and set my ashes free. When my last winter's come and gone, will you think of me flying to the great beyond? At the wake, put my guitar at the end of an open bar. Sing only happy tunes, we'll be together soon. When my last winter's come and gone, will you think of me flying to the great beyond? Yeah, when my last winter's come and gone, will you think of me flying to the great beyond? That's me you'll see, flying to the great beyond. Great beyond. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the Guinea Pig Session. And I got to get back outside and make sure my fish are still there. I don't know. And also, it's getting close to dinner time here in the Midwest. So thank you all so much. If you happen to be in the Central Ohio area, these bifocals are driving me nuts. if you happen to be in the Central Ohio area, a week from Saturday, I will be back at the Sand Hollow Winery in Heath, Ohio. That's going to show up on the website, and I'm looking for. I'm talking like I said earlier in this broadcast. I'm talking to Michael Ronstadt tonight, so we can get back on track with the album. I've got 6 or 7 of my guitar and vocal stuff, vocal tracks done. And the hassle with this is the whole thing with sending files back and forth to all 5 or 6 band members of Dave Hawkins and the Perfect Men and Peg Buchanan, featuring Peg Buchanan. So we're trying to do that, and lucky but unlucky, you know, nobody's out on the road right now. Lance is holed up down in Nashville, just rehearsing every day in his place down there, so I got to send my stuff down to him. And I thank Michael Ronstadt so much for working with me kind of as co-producer. I haven't officially given him that title yet, but I think he's going to get it. So I will let you know as soon as things start getting back on track. Hopefully by the end of the week, both the girls, both of my Taylor guitars will be back in working order by Thursday or Friday. Again, thank you. God bless you, people at Taylor Guitars out in El Cajon, California. You've been so wonderful to me, and the artist relations person, Robin Stouty, and Matt, the guitar tech out there, have been working with my guy here in Heath, Ohio, to get the girls back together. And thanks to my new guitar tech, Steve Pratt, who loaned me his Martin guitar. Don't tell anybody. Dave was playing a Martin. I'll get in trouble. So we'll see you again soon. A week from tomorrow will be One Take Tuesday. Again, it's the first and third Tuesdays of every month. And we will see you then. Okay, take care of each other. Take care of the earth. Love each other. Love yourselves. Love each other. And I will see you again soon. Okay, thank you so much. This is Dave. Peace out.